all of a sudden hear some, gunshot. Like at first it's just like a firecracker, very light pop, and then following a couple seconds later, boom, boom. Well, underneath our, the register.
My coworker and I, we ran into Macy's and we hid with a bunch of people in like the back rooms.
As soon as I came upstairs, the mall security guy was just screaming at me to get out.
Basically, we all ran in for our safety. From there on, we ran to the nearest exit. I mean, all we wanted to do is just get safe.
The scene at a mall in Paramus, New Jersey last night. One of many scenes of gun terror in our region in the past 24 hours, Andrew, and thankfully the shooter last night didn't turn the gun on any innocent people. He did turn it on himself, tragically at the end of the night here. But it's becoming such a familiar scene.
And normally we report on the worst of those scenes, and we don't report on others because there's frankly not enough time in the day or in this program to do so. But that scene, the only one of several incidents in our region last night, and the only one where shots were actually fired, but the terror in the mall remained the same. Garden State Mall, Richard Schoof, a 20-year-old, shot and killed himself after pushing the mall into lockdown for 5 hours. No one else was hurt. Officials do not believe his intention was to hurt anyone else, but they're really not sure what his motivation was. That came just hours after a gun scare at Central Connecticut State University in New Britain, Connecticut. This was a bad Halloween costume, a student walking around the campus in a mask and carrying a sword, but that put the campus on another lockdown and another hours-long scare. The campus later returned to normal and classes there resumed today. And there's more. Lodi, New Jersey, the high school there on lockdown today after someone phoned in a gun threat. Students and staff evacuated as police searched. Later, an elementary school in Glen Rock, also in Bergen County, evacuated after an unrelated threat. Not clear if that was a gun threat. Denver, two 15-year-olds broke into an empty school building last night carrying BB guns. They appeared to be long rifles. Police were called. Cleaning crew spotted the teens breaking in. They were arrested after a 3-hour standoff. And of course, there's the incident Friday at LAX airport in Los Angeles as a 23-year-old gunman shot and killed a TSA guard. The gunman surprised the agent, took off into the terminal, got past several gates. He was later shot by officials. He's still in the hospital under armed guard. Officials believe he acted alone. And again, in the last 24 hours in our region, only the shots fired at the mall in Paramus, the largest shopping mall in New Jersey, by the way, with countless exits. Think about any local shopping mall near you and all the points of entry and exit. But that scene, that terror scene, that moment where people had to ask, is my son okay? Is my daughter okay? Oh, goodness, I've been there many, many times, echoed around our region and around the country in the last few days.
You know, when we ask the question, is this our new normal? Perception and reality, it's almost more important just, I think, to just look at the choices in front of us. From the perception thing, I actually saw the numbers. The guns, the actual gun violent crimes is down in this country than it was even 20 years ago when you look at it proportionally. But we have to ask questions about airports now, about malls now, about soft and hard targets alike. And I'm just dealing with a world that is not the world I want. You can't have armed guards at every gate to the train or every gate to a ball field. You're not going to pat everybody down when they walk into a mall or into an airport. Forget about going through the checkpoint. Economically, we can't afford it, let alone practically. It'll grind everything to a halt. I say all that because, to me, if we believe in this country we're not going to change our gun laws, then maybe the answer is if you carry a gun, just like if I have on my phone or if I have in my car, there's a sensor. Basically, they can track me wherever I'm going. Guns should be traceable, in effect, where if you walk wherever you're going to go, it'll set off with a chip, an alarm wherever you're going into if your gun doesn't belong there. And maybe that would make people think twice. I don't know, but I just think...
You're getting desperate.
Well, I am getting desperate, and that's a fair way to say it. I just saw, and I'm so disappointed where at the beginning of this year that dialogue went after Newtown. But something's got to be done. You can't, we don't have the money to pay for the level of security everyone would want and still have that level of, I guess, portability.
In 1968, one of the first planes was hijacked to Cuba. And the norm for almost 10 years was one plane hijacking after another. And now you don't have it. I'd like to think that this is like kind of a passing fancy. You know, there are some things probably we can do, but you know, you heard the TSA guys saying, well, now we're going to have a security guard at every gate. guarding us. And I think, no, it's just not realistic.
You know, you mentioned the hijackings to Cuba. The change was we started using metal detectors at airports. We started actually screening. That's what led to
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't the wave of TSA security we see now. Obviously, that was 9/11. But that's when you used to be able to walk right up to the gate even if you didn't have a ticket. You used to be able to not have to go through a metal detector to get into an airport. So we use technological changes, and we're willing to spend the money on that one area. But you can't do that at every school. You can't do that at every shopping mall. There's 35 entrances at a shopping mall.
We'll keep this conversation going on the other side of the break. Stay with us.